Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to, of course, acknowledge the Permanent Secretary for Communication, who is also the Solicitor General, the various representatives of the telecom companies, in particular Fintel, Digicel, and Vodafone, and of course TFL. And also I'd like to welcome the representatives from the various content providers or television companies, which is my Fiji TV, FBC, and of course Hope Channel, which also provides content. And of course I'd like to invite, also welcome all the other stakeholders, whether you are people who advertise through the television companies, and also the students who of course are the future IT backbone of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Savusavu Cable, Submarine cable, sorry, is actually very, very pivotal, as the Solicitor General highlighted, to ensuring that we have development that is actually spread across evenly throughout Fiji. In short, essentially the Samoans are building a cable to connect themselves to the Southern Cross Cable, which lands in Vatwanga, as you know. We're very privileged to actually have the Southern Cross Cable landing in Fiji. As a result of which many of the regional countries actually do want to connect to us. And to connect to the Southern Cross Cable, they end up connecting to us, which is in Vatwanga. So we saw an opportunity because the connectivity from Samoa to Fiji, the cable was going to come between Taveuni and Savusavu. So the Fijian government actually saw an opportunity and said, why don't we build a pipe out of that to land actually a cable in Savusavu? Because that would then give the bandwidth and the speed to Vanuatu. Vanuatu is a wonderful place. We like to keep the people of Vanuatu in Vanuatu, and hopefully also send people from Vitilevu to Vanuatu. And of course, as you know, that we want to, people only go to places nowadays, of course, if amenities are available. If you have road connectivity, if you have water connectivity, you have electricity connectivity, and also now telecommunications connectivity. Mobile phone is something that people cannot live without now. Very few people use landlines, except perhaps in offices. Even then, too, they use mobile phones. So it is very critical for us to be able to ensure that to have Vanuatu participate in the economic development, and also to provide services to the people living in Vanuatu and encourage businesses in Vanuatu. They need to have the right levels of speed. Currently, just to put into perspective, you have microwave linkages which has the speeds of 2 Gbps, which is 2 gigabytes per second. What this will do, this cable, will actually improve it to 100 gigabytes per second. So 50 times more the speed than what you currently have. It has, of course, the potential to go up to 8 terabytes per second. And that is extremely wide, and the speed is very fast. So this is the potential of actually, unleashing a particular opportunity that did not exist in Vanuatu. So that's part and parcel of what we're doing. And of course, the signing ceremony here commemorates the fact that we have the telecom companies there that will be contributing to the usage of that cable. The Fijian government, of course, borrowed money, not from Exim Bank of China, but from the World Bank. And we borrowed money essentially to the tune of 5.95 million Fijian dollars. The total cost was about $7.457 million. We, of course, as government, contributed $1.5.2 million towards the overall cost, because we saw an opportunity in this, because this is what you call planning for the future. It means positioning yourself for the future, and also, of course, increasing the current potential that exists in Vanuatu, and of course, overall in Fiji. Now, the original cost of the estimated cost to have this all done was actually $10 million, but we've actually $10 million US dollars. But we've actually saved, quite a significant amount of money in the manner in which it has been done. I'd like to, of course, thank the Director of Communications, also the CEO of Walesi, Shivnesh Prasad, who's here with us, who is with his team, a small team of people who have done a fantastic job ensuring this capacity that will land in Savusavu. And we have hopefully the potential launch date in Savusavu will be, the service date I should say, on the 12th of July, which is only next month. Now with the telecom companies actually participating in it, it will help them to be able to now offer much better services, better packaging to their clients, but also by them actually contributing to the operating cost. It will over a period of time help us to be able to pay back the loan, and also to be able to have a sinking fund, because in 25 years time we need to upgrade the cable. So So we need to think about the future. Because when those young people sitting in the back, when they're in their 40s and 50s, they'll want, of course, even faster speeds. And they also don't want a deteriorating infrastructure. So our objective, of course, is that we need to ensure whatever we build today will continue to last in the future and the decades and indeed the centuries to come. So that's part and parcel of what we're doing here today. And as I said, I do not want to sort of bore you with all the details regarding it. The speeds are actually quite significant. But one important point is the Honourable Prime Minister just returned from Germany yesterday, in respect of climate change. As you know that when you have microwave linkages, things get blown away. Submarine cables cannot get blown away. In the same way, when you put underground electricity cables, they cannot get washed away nor blown away for that matter. So your service in that particular sector continues. So in the same way, by having submarine cables underground, the opportunity of it to be damaged through a cyclone is actually very minimal compared to if you have microwave linkages. And this is a whole part and parcel of what we're doing in terms of building resilience in our infrastructure. I'd also like to, ladies and gentlemen, even before I speak about the OTT, want to very publicly acknowledge the fact that none of this would have been possible without the leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister. He is probably, as I say, the most technological savvy Prime Minister we've ever had. He's always got his gadgets, he always has these new apps, he always tells us as ministers, why don't you get this app, we can better communicate, be able to better, video link, etc. I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank him for his leadership, because he's never hesitated in respect of the various projects we brought forward to him, to be able to better empower people, and he's always very ably supported that, not just politically, administratively, but also in terms of the vision that is provided to be able to get us into a very modern space. With those introductory remarks regarding Savusavu Cable, of course, now we have the opportunity today through the Walesi platform, as you know, that the Honourable Prime Minister, is highlighted by the SG, launched Digital Fiji only about a week or so, about 2 weeks ago. In that, as you know, we're also using the services of the Singapore Corporation Enterprise, and they are a very professional outfit, and they've just launched 2 or 3 apps on our platforms. We're looking at, for example, by August, getting our birthdays and marriages on our mobile phones. So there are a number of other projects that will come to the fore in respect of that, and we're going to partner with SCE in respect of that. But also as part of that, of course, Walesi has been doing a fantastic job in respect of getting Fijians connected to television, and in particular free-to-air television. And today we have something like about 80,000 set-top boxes. 82,346 households have now switched on to Walesi. Out of a potentially 120,000 households that do have television, this is what the statistician tells us, 82,000 households already have Walesi. So with the government's budgetary provision, as we've had for the past couple of years, we provide subsidized set-top boxes to those families that earn less than $30,000 a year. And out of the 82,000, over 60,000 have received the STBs on a subsidized rates. In other words, they get it for free. They don't pay anything for it. And again, this is the opportunity for them to be connected. They have the opportunity to switch channels. They have now 8 channels that they can watch from, all the way with the 3 channels from MBC, 2 from Fiji TV, 1 from Mai, 1 from Hope, and of course you've got the parliamentary channel. And this again, brings home to a lot of people the level of information that they traditionally did not enjoy, and of course entertainment too. And most of these companies that are here are in the business of entertainment, and they also make a revenue from it. Now, with the OTT that we'll be launching today, it's enormous potential revenue, not just for the internet providers who will provide the platform, so you have to buy the data, and then you actually can watch the programs, but it's also opportunities for the television companies and also the internet providers to market themselves to commercial companies, to say, look, we now have more people that can watch a particular program. Because if they, for example, are sitting on the bus, they can still watch their favorite program, whether it's Home and Away or Pavitra Rishta or whatever it is, or Batani Tanoa. I mean, this will also encourage people to, and we hope that the content providers encourage them, giving them a new revenue source to produce more local programs. And that is very, very, very critical for us. The OTT, of course, today will be launched officially. And as we've said, it will be available throughout Fiji. And we've actually, pumped in essentially a lot of money through Walesi Walesi's initial funding came through a trust fund. A few years ago, government, working with the Commerce Commission then, decided to charge a small levy on incoming international calls. And those incoming international call fees actually went to a particular trust fund, through which we actually set up what we call government telecentres. So we now today have more people using internet services. So we set up telecentres initially through the schools. So we went to specific schools. We said to them that we will provide you with internet connectivity, we'll give you computers, we'll give you webcam, we'll give you scanners. The students can use it, but also after hours, the people living around the community can actually come and use those facilities also. So government, through this particular trust fund, actually is paying for that. We buy the computers, we buy the webcams through this trust fund. We also pay Vodafone and Digicel for the internet services. In some schools, they've said, look, we're quite happy to do it, but what if somebody comes and steals the computers after 3 p.m.? We've actually paid for the security guards. So people can come and use it after hours. The moment you can tell them that through the computer you can make a free phone call to your relatives overseas, through Skype everybody wants to use the computer. That's how you get them introduced to the technology. And it's actually working well. And we just, last week, we had a request from a village in Thailand where they've set up a community hall, they built a new community hall. They said, can we actually have a telecentre? Because we want to have access to computers. So we actually have set that up for them. 2 weeks ago, we were up in the hills in Nanronga, up the Valley Road going towards KNC. And over there, we had British American Tobacco that actually set up a borehole facility for them. And then they requested for Walesi, and we do provide for those type of facilities. In a community hall, we put a television set, we give them connected, they get them connected to Walesi. So they're able to watch and get connected to Fiji. They're able to see the parliamentary proceedings. They're able to see the various programs. They're able to get public notices. So this is another way of empowering people from the social aspect of things. But of course, from the commercial aspect, it provides enormous opportunities to the content providers and also to the internet providers. The revenue sharing that you have seen, of course, is that the way it's been done, in a way, it's what we call 40-40-20. So in other words, the internet that's used, the cost of using internet to watch television programs, the internet providers, in this case, the 3 telcos, they'll keep 20% of that, and the other balance of the 80% will be shared 50% each between Walesi, which has actually put the infrastructure cost, and also the television companies which actually provided the content. Because internet companies, one can argue, are free riders in the sense that they have not put up any upfront infrastructure costs. The upfront infrastructure cost has come from Walesi, and the content providers have put up their cost too. So, but of course, we cannot get the content out without the telco providers too. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And of course, this is a recognition of who's actually putting in the hardcore infrastructure work. So it's a great opportunity. We also hope to be having some discussions with the telco providers. We hope to make some further announcements in this respect. But as you can see, government is very much focused on what we call under this platform of Digital Fiji, getting people more connected, using more electronic transactions, whether it's in the financial space or whether it's actually in the, in the entertainment space or content space, and getting people more connected. So ladies and gentlemen, with those few remarks, I've got lots of notes here, but I don't want to mention all of them. But Walesi, I have to say, is also moving towards further choices through what we call video on demand, and also subscription video on demand to offer premium content, and that will be available also. And we've, of course, rolling out various transmission sites. There's about 17 sites. It's a large-scale investment, which we need to continue. But once we make the initial investment, and also to ensure that we have redundancies built into the system too. So just because one tower goes off doesn't mean the content suddenly drops off. And we've seen that repeatedly, in particular when we had the television companies themselves actually providing infrastructure costs. We also want to work also with the telcos companies. As you know, that the mobile phone companies provide a certain percentage of their profit to a universal service fund that is managed with Telecommunication Authority of Fiji. And we want to be able to, of course, use those funds, and we put the ads out too, where there are various what we call black spots throughout Fiji, or brown out spots, where we want to put additional infrastructure through the usage of these trust funds. So you don't, once you're sort of driving along and suddenly the call drops off. That should not happen. And of course, there are certain places where you may have a village or a farm where it's not viable commercially for the mobile phone companies to put up a tower. Because there may be only 20 people living in the village, or 50 people, or there may be only 5 households. But the cost of putting up a tower may be $1 million or $800,000, whatever the case may be. So this is where we come in, and we provide the infrastructure costs, and the telcos then of course don't have to upfront with those costs. They simply provide the services. And in this way we're able to connect everybody. We of course have today more SIM cards than actual people in Fiji. Some people of course keep 2 SIM cards. Some for legitimate reasons, some for illegitimate reasons. Others of course keep it for business purposes. Some may keep it because they think that in this particular area Digicel has got better coverage, or in this area Vodafone has got better coverage. People do that. So we want to be able to ensure that it's not just about the number of SIM cards, but getting 100% coverage. There's certain places you go to, you have to sort of hang off from the last branch before you can get connectivity. We want to be able to stop that. And this is all part and parcel of Walesi will be doing together with all the other mobile phone companies. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to once again thank everybody who's been involved. I'd like to thank the mobile phone companies and telecom that actually we've had discussions with them in the past 1 week, and I'd like to thank them for their not just their understanding, but their ability to look into the future and to be able to work together with each other. As you know that they're competitors, but the idea is that healthy competition is good competition, but we need to be able to also have a broader outlook. And I'm glad that we reached that agreement with them. And also like to thank the content providers, in particular MyTV, FBC, Fiji TV, and of course Hope, where they've been able to, in particular the 3, Hope is very specific in its sort of content, but the other 3 of course competing for commercial dollars. I'd like to thank them for their understanding and also working together, because I can say one thing, ladies and gentlemen, if we were able to work together and be able to overcome some of the impediments as far as costs are concerned, then we'll be able to provide much better services, and all of you actually can make money ultimately, because government is here to provide that opportunity for you, because we are interested in empowering ordinary Fijians. Thank you very much. Thank you, SG. Nakavakalev, and have a good day. Thanks.
Pivotal in making this a success. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
While being mobile, it's basically on the go. Coming down to the 3rd channel, we have FBC Sports, and this is one